Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a very special review. Today I am reviewing for you the Cerberus 20 kilogram Power Bar. As is becoming more usual, to keep this organized, I'm going to go over the overview of the bar, then we're going to talk about construction, I'm going to present to you my training notes, and I'm also going to show you some comparable items that are in the market right now, just in case you wanted to kind of comparison shop with me. Afterwards, I'll give you guys my final recommendation, so be sure to watch to the end. So before we get to all of my opinions, let's break down the overview. This is a 20 kilogram powerlifting barbell. It has a 29 millimeter diameter shaft made out of 210,000 PSI steel. Additionally, it has a black zinc coating that spans from the knurling to the knurling and a little bit underneath the sleeves, as well as powerlifting knurl marks that are about 31 3/4 inches apart. The center knurl, which has the exact same knurl as the outside, is about 4 3/4 inches long, and that knurl itself is actually pretty aggressive and pretty sharp without being a little bit overbearing. It has bright zinc sleeves that have a total of 16 and just under a quarter, 16.14 inches of loadable sleeve length, which is more than some of the other powerlifting bars on the market. And the total bar width from end to end is 86.61 inches. Some little nice tidbits at the end is that this is USPA approved. It meets the specs for USPA competition and has been evaluated. Additionally, it carries a 3-year warranty. So now that we're kind of familiar with the entire bar itself, let's move into how well it is constructed. Let's start with the shaft. So the shaft is a 29 millimeter, 210,000 tensile strength PSI steel. It is a stiff bar, so it isn't really designed to bend that much, as is custom with most powerlifting bars. And I can tell you that it is very comparable, if not actually just a little bit stiffer, in my opinion, than the Rogue Ohio Power Bar. I've looked over the entire shaft, and the only imperfections that I can find in the actual black zinc coating are right here, in between the center knurl and the side of this knurl over here. Everywhere else, it's very consistent, and throughout the knurl itself, it is also very consistent as far as being evenly coated, and there's no parts that don't seem to have caught. The area right here, it kind of looks maybe like some scratching occurred, something occurred possibly during transit. The packaging did arrive somewhat not intact. This comes in a tube, very similarly to Rogue's bars or to True Grit's bars. However, the material that that cardboard tube is made out of is a little bit thinner, so perhaps this maybe wouldn't have happened if the packaging had been just a little bit more robust. The nice part about this imperfection, though, is it doesn't really affect the functionality of the bar. It is just one of those things that eventually I'll either try to attack and make it go away or just get used to it. So of course we have to talk knurl. If I was to describe this knurl, I would describe it as slightly less aggressive than a Rogue Ohio Power Bar Agro 2. It's just a little bit less refined. It is very consistent, and it is a volcano style knurl that runs the entire length, including the center section. It leaves nothing to be desired in my opinion. It is slightly sharper feeling than a Rogue Ohio Power Bar normal, however, just a little bit less refined. As far as chalk retention, it's actually been very easy to get this thing cleaned off, and as you can tell, there's no chalk on it whatsoever, and I was definitely using it with chalk. Additionally, with chalk, I've had some bad experiences in the past with black zinc coatings, and adding chalk to them, it just kind of feels slick-ish. With this, none of those issues at all. It took chalk very well, and it also came out very easily. One additional cool thing about these bars is that the knurl mark, the powerlifting knurl mark out here, is actually painted red, which at first I thought it was just kind of a gimmick, but after talking with Ken Nowicki a little bit about the whys on this, it makes a lot of sense, and we'll get into the why on these later. But what I can tell you right now, just at this point, is that they are very nice looking, they're aesthetically pleasing, and additionally, they match the colorway of my gym, so if black and red are colors that you have in your gym, you definitely won't regret having that knurl mark there. So now that we've talked about the shaft, we gotta talk about the sleeves. These bright zinc coated sleeves have a very narrow flange right here, very reminiscent of the Rogue Ohio Power Bar, the 20 kg competition style one. Additionally, the sleeves are set so far out of the shaft that you have about 1 1/4 inches in between the upright and the flange when the bar is centered in my 49-inch outside to outside distance rack. There are 2 sets of bronze bushings that are in here. Just as a quick note, one of them is free floating. So if you are someone that does your own bar maintenance, when that bronze bushing comes out, that is normal. I reached out to the company about that. Basically, it just made more sense for them to manufacture the bar that way. However, other than that, when I took the bar apart to inspect it, there was really no issues, no real problems. Obviously, bar maintenance will dictate when and how you take this bar apart, but the sleeve spins just fine. It rides very nicely on those bushings. Now, one of the things that I guess has been a little bit more of a complaint lately has been that this is a rib sleeve. So if you don't like that rib sleeve, this is not your bar. However, I have no problem with that. I think it holds the weights significantly better. And if I'm being honest, I really like the sound that it makes. A little something of note, this is a dual snap ring enclosure. Dual snap ring closure. And I'll take it apart with you just real quick so you can see what the insides look like. So obviously you have your outside snap ring. Now this is one of the things that's a little bit different. You have their actual stamped end cap here, and it's got the Cerberus dogs on it. But then you also have this blank end cap. And this is kind of one area that I thought that they might be able to step up their game. Maybe instead of getting this printed on this thinner piece, getting it onto this actual piece might be a good thing. However, at least it didn't come with a blank. A blank would have been really annoying. And I do like aesthetically the end cap that comes with it. Just seemed a little bit odd that it came with 2. Inner snap ring, which is going to free up the bar. So when you push it, here, you have your half moons as well as your spacer piece. And I will say that when I put this back together, I'll show you there's very, very little slop as far as left and right slop. And here is that bronze bushing that's going to come out right there. So that exposes the actual shaft itself. It does have a light coat of oil. In all honesty, I did already take this apart and made sure that it was everything that I wanted it to be. There was a small amount of oxidation that I found on the inside of the sleeve, but in the end, it really wasn't that big of a deal because I do my own bar maintenance anyways. However, if something like that is foreign to you, one, you should probably focus a little bit more on bar maintenance because that is the #1 thing that's going to extend the life of your barbells. But as you can see, the shaft is free of rust, free of any real defects. However, the powder coat does stop about 4 inches in, and you can even see where that last bronze bushing glides along the bar right there. So that's the sleeve construction. I'm going to throw this back together. So we have bar, bushing, half moon, spacer, inner snap ring, end cap, and finally the outer snap ring. So now that the bar is back together, you can see very, very little side-to-side play, as well as, in my opinion, for a power bar, this tracks exactly how you want it to as far as barbell spin. So now that I've broken down the sleeve and the shaft construction, I'm going to give you guys some of my training notes and then we're going to wrap this whole thing up. Now, I kind of touched on it earlier, but normally I find black zinc sleeves to just be a little bit slick. However, with that extra sharp knurl that we have here, and when I say extra sharp, I mean in context, it's not like an aggro 3, it's not going to murder you. But with this knurling over here, the way that it takes chalk so efficiently, it is a very nice addition. Also, most people aren't really into bare steel, and a lot of people can't afford stainless steel. So this black zinc option is a really good way to go. And this one, outside of this small imperfection right here, really doesn't disappoint. I really do appreciate that the center knurl section is the same aggressive knurl that's out here. For me personally, I find that that bite, as it bites into your back, is very nice to have as far as grip and feedback for back squats. For me, it's a really awesome thing. However, when it comes to most things in the front rack position, especially like power cleans, this does definitely impact and and mark up your chest quite a bit. So if that is something that you're into, one, I think you should be looking at a power bar anyways. However, if you want to use this as that bar, just be prepared for a little bit of aggression onto your sternum. For front squats, I didn't necessarily mind the center knurl that was on here, so it's more of the dynamic movement of getting into a power clean. I touched a little bit on the red knurl marks, and the big reason for those red knurl marks is as this ages, sometimes it gets difficult to be able to actually see the black zinc knurl portion to the black zinc mark. That's why they did these in red, so that when you're, let's say, underneath doing a bench press, you're staring up at the lights, instead of having to move your head over and look, you can see that red plain as day from underneath. And I have found that during training, outside of it being aesthetically pleasing, it does work very well for that function. It makes it very easy to find that mark. Additionally, that red paint doesn't chip off from my experience so far. In my opinion, the sleeves at 16 inches provide plenty of loadable space for most people, and the benefit of having that extra area of loadable space is that this will hold a lot of weight even if you just have bumpers installed. Now, if you're using bumpers, obviously you won't be able to use as much if you're using steels, but at 16 inches of loadable sleeve length, it is really nice to have that little bit extra. So now that we've broken down the overview, the construction, and my training notes, I want to move into price and comparable value. This bar right here is the Cerberus Power Bar. It's going to run you $329 plus $30 shipping and handling to anywhere in the continental United States. That's the lower 48. There is also sales tax that you have to pay, but I have been working with Cerberus Strength and a special discount code to anybody that uses it. Enter code KURTLOCKER and it'll save you 10% on your barbell. I'm pretty sure it'll save you 10% on your order, but definitely on your barbell. I did test it on barbells earlier. The nice part about this is if you think about it, later on we're going to compare it to some other ones that have free shipping. This basically gets you the free shipping plus a little bit extra. One thing of note though is that this actually is USPA spec'd and approved, and there's really not that many other bars out there. And because it's USPA spec'd and approved, the first bar I wanted to compare it to is the Rogue Fitness 20 kilogram Ohio Power Bar. And I did have to change the color finish from stainless steel to black zinc to be a better representation. Now this Cerberus bar is an import bar. It is not a made in USA bar. The Rogue obviously is a made in USA bar, and it costs $350 plus you still have to pay shipping and tax. However, it is IPF approved, so depending on which federation you compete in, that might make a difference as far as your barbell shopping. Outside of that, the specs are actually very close as far as those two barbells are concerned. Obviously, those federations have very close specifications that they need followed, and they're really not that different from each other. A third option, which has free shipping, is the Rep Fitness Stainless Steel Power Bar version 2. Now, mind you, it is an upgrade, in my opinion, from the black zinc because it is a stainless steel bar, but you also have to pay more for that. It's going to be $429 plus the free shipping. Unfortunately, though, it is not IPF or USPA approved. I'm sure it does become close to meeting the specifications, but it doesn't actually carry that approval. The third bar that I wanted to throw out was the Bells of Steel Bare Naked Power Bar version 2.0. It is also an imported barbell, $199.99 plus free shipping, which sounds amazing, but if bare steel is something that you're not willing to maintain, maybe this isn't the bar for you. Those are three options that you could potentially execute instead of the Cerberus bar, but I really gotta tell you that the Cerberus bar is something that I do enjoy using. This is an aesthetically pleasing, well-functioning barbell. The price is comparable to other barbells that are in the market of similar value and similar function. There is a slight flaw to the finish here, but I really think that that is probably a result of either manufacturing or potentially the shipping container being a little bit busted, which I really would like it if maybe Cerberus was to redo a little bit of their packaging, make it a little bit more robust, because a lot of people don't just use that packaging for initial receiving of the item. They use it if they have to move their barbell from one location to another. The knurl, in my opinion, is plenty aggressive. It actually offers a little bit more than I think a lot of people would give this thing credit for. It's very consistent, and I enjoy that nice sharp knurl. Additionally, that knurl is consistent throughout the entire range of the barbell. I have rotated this thing over and given it a very thorough examination. There is no double track knurling that I have found, and it just looks nice, it feels nice, it's a great knurl. Additionally, the knurl breaks, these knurl marks. In my opinion, that's a very big plus. I know it's a little thing, and it is something that a lot of you could probably DIY on your bar if you chose to, but it's nice that Cerberus would have thought about that before they actually started production and were able to include it on their final model that they released. So at the end of the day, I really think this is a very solid deal. And with that Kurt Locker discount, again, coupon code Kurt Locker, just enter it at checkout and you get that 10% off. This is one of the better deals on the market. Yes, it is an import bar, but I gotta tell you that as someone who really values American-made equipment, I found using this bar to be very, very pleasing. Although it doesn't work for all situations, namely if you're into like CrossFit or anything like that where you're having to do a whole lot of cleans, maybe this bar isn't for you, but for most other people that are looking for a powerlifting style barbell, this one is right up your alley, and I really don't think that you'll regret the purchase. But that's been it for this review. Tell me what you guys think down below. Would you guys give Cerberus a chance? Let me know. Thank you guys for watching this video. I appreciate each and every single one of you that have made it to this point. And remember that when it comes to your garage gym, always keep it better, awesome, and of course, badass. I'll see you next time.